Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd, yes again, with another Horde Trooper. Anyway, as you guys know, a few minutes ago I just opened up this one right here, was not happy with the head, and I thought, you know what, I got those other three troopers that I bought, the Masterverse ones, and I thought I got all these unlabeled boxes, and I wasn't quite sure what they all were, and so I went and checked and noticed the HTN03 was the Horde Trooper one. I'm not sure what the 9993 stands for. If that's the number of how many they made, and mine's 9,993 of it. But either way, I got the Horde Trooper right here on my hands. And let's go ahead and open it up and check out this Horde Trooper for Masterverse. And let's compare him next to other figures in different lines. So, opening. Now, I had no intention of buying this giant Horde Trooper. Zero. But then they had them on sale. And I'm like, well, heck, at that price, I might as well get it. And to save on shipping, I ended up buying 3 of them. And then I thought, I wish I could have got 4. So I could just use these heads directly out of here for my snake troopers and just pop the head right on there. I'm guessing, hopefully they'll fit. Anyway, here is the Horde Trooper box. Looks pretty cool. Hey, Delaxorian, thanks for joining us. Yep, just getting started. And here's the back of the box. And you can see it's kind of weird. They show other troopers, and then they show this trooper. And what's weird is, take a look. Look at the head on this trooper. It looks like the same kind of head we saw with the original classics. Then look at the heads on this one, and they have the extra weird flare that we see with this giant Horde Trooper. So they have 2 different trooper heads going on there. And so I'm wondering if they're planning on selling a different Horde Trooper that looks like this, as opposed to this giant one. Since they call this one giant, I'm guessing there's going to be a non-giant one, right? There's got to be. If this is a giant one, there has to be a non-giant one. Of course, it just says Horde Trooper on there. It doesn't say the word giant anywhere. So maybe this is the only one they're releasing. All right, let's go ahead and open them up and take a look at this beast of burden. Urgh. And he comes with this cool backdrop you can throw in there, and this cool thing. And sure enough, same thing here too. You can see this guy has regular eyes as opposed to the weird butterfly eyes. And then on this side, we got some of the Masters of the Universe. Lots of those guards, royal guards. That is quite the battle line. So if you want to copy this battle line, you have to buy 300 Horde Troopers and 250 of the Royal Guards. Then you'll have enough to make your battle scene. And a whole bunch of these Wind Raiders and a bunch of these as well. Yep, you'll be out a lot of figures. Let's see, just got back from Mission Impossible. Nice. But an hour too long. I hate when you're watching a movie and you say, all right, there's the end, and it's not. And you're like, hey, here's the end, and it's not. It's like, oh, if you think that's the end too many times in a row when you're watching a movie, you know the movie's far too long. Now, I've always liked the idea that Horde Troopers are robots for a number of reasons. One, of course, goes back to the original He-Man cartoon that came out in the 80s, where He-Man would smash things and crash things, but never punch people. But this gave him the ability to punch something that was inanimate. It's just a robot. Of course, who knows? Maybe later on with AI, robots will have rights and won't be allowed to punch them, and the old He-Man cartoons will be banned from robot abuse. But that's for another day, another time. All right. So there is the Horde Trooper. And he is silver. And they did a kind of a dark silver, which I like the dark silver look a lot, as you guys know from yesterday's video. The dark silver just kind of gives it that cool look as opposed to a bright silver. See? Bright silver, dark silver. And I'm kind of glad they did it in silver, so you could use it with your Origins figures as a giant version of a Horde Trooper. So if you wanted to have the one big giant trooper, pooper trooper, you can have that giant trooper in with your Origins figures if you chose to. So you'd have one big giant boom boom. Like my giant one back here that I've made. Dun 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 dun. Now, there's something interesting. A lot of people have taken and put lights inside here. When they do, though, the whole head lights up because the plastic's not thick enough. Whenever you're going to light something, you always want to make sure to put extra thick paint on it. So when I painted this, I put lots of paint on the inside, as you can see. And then when I turn my lights on, you don't get the weird, everything lights up around the head except for the window. So if you are planning on putting lights on the inside of this, you are going to have to repaint it in order for it to work. All right, that's enough of me talking about how to customize your figures. Let me turn these eye lights back off. And let's take a look at this trooper. Now, this trooper is made for the Masterverse line, so he's made for larger figures than Origins. So let's get ourselves a Masterverse figure. And I like to use just this guy here just because he's like the average Masterverse figure. He's like the everything man. And you can kind of see his size comparison to that figure. Now here is Roboto next to him. So you can kind of get another understanding of his size. And so he's not really as giant as he would be with your Origins figures, which would put him as a big monster of a Horde trooper next to Origins. So, all right, let's get back to it. I love this merman. Got the bubbles on his underwear and everything. It's so cool. I almost didn't buy the 5-pack because they had merman in a separate pack, but the 5-pack one's so cool. All right, let's go and talk about articulation. We have, I know we have an ankle joint because I've already moved it. This one's frozen on this side, but it can move on this side. Then we have a knee joint, double jointed knees. And then we have the hip movement up here. We got this little piece here that looks like it could break pretty easily, so be careful. It's supposed to be the hip joint up here, I believe. I'm not sure. We got it on here. I guess it's just on the waist up here. It's just the design. Okay, and then we have lots of movement there. That's kind of cool. Do, 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 do. And then we have shoulder joint, which is really smooth. That is like one of the smoothest shoulder joints I have seen in a long time. Nice. Look at that. And then we have a single jointed elbow. And for robots, I don't mind double jointed elbows, but that's okay. That will work just fine. Back and forth on the hand. And it looks like his armor may or not be removable. Oh, it is. The top half's removable. Okay. So let's get into what's inside the helmet. Now, this part kind of irritates me, but that's okay. Let's take a look and get his head off. And you know what? This is not going to work. I was hoping I could just take the head and stick it on my other troopers, which is why I wanted 4. But that head is not going to work on my snake troopers after I pull the head off. Geben Sie deinem head. Yeah, it's just the wrong size. Bummer. So it's strange in that all the other troopers we ever had, the headpiece kind of goes down into the armor and then sits. But see, we got some kind of troll head in there. Now, I was curious, is this troll supposed to be small? He looks like he's very small in comparison. But let's yank his head off. Ugh. And it has, of course, the rest of him still sticking out a little bit, his little shoulders and stuff. But let's compare his head to a regular Masterverse figure and see. So his head is larger than like Mossman here. Let's try to find a human. So here is the Battle Armor He-Man. He's a regular human. And his head is just a little bit bigger, but not massively bigger. So I imagine that the troll inside there might be a little taller than He-Man, but not as tall as this body of armor makes him. So, hey Waldo, thanks for joining us. Hey Master Far, thanks for being here. So, I'm not a fan of the troll head. I like mine to be robotic. So, I don't know if I'm planning on making a robot insert to put in there. I think I might create some kind of piece that goes inside there in order to make it robotic looking. But we shall see. And again, if you want to light this up, you're going to want to pop out this yellow glass very carefully and then spray paint the inside of this black, lots of black, and then light it up. Otherwise, you're going to end up not being happy with the results. And you can see there's a spot right there. You could pull that out. I don't know how easily, but it's weird. It goes all the way up to here, but only this much of it's the glass for the eyes. See what I mean? There's the eye holes, but yet the yellow glass goes all the way to the top up here. There's got to be a way to pop that out of there. I'm not going to do it this video, so I don't want to break it. But I'm sure with some little bit of effort and maybe some hot water, you could probably get it out of there. Now, I was reluctant to buy this Horde Trooper because I already made my giant trooper over there. But actually, he's pretty well built. I do like him. Oh, the chest piece comes off. Did he come with extra parts in his... Let's take a look and see what comes inside here. I almost just threw this box away. Oh, he does have Cracker Jack prizes. Hooray, let's see what they are. I'm not quite sure what that is. Oh, it goes on his back. Oh, it's to hold his weapon. It's weird it's a different color silver, though. It's tight. I was hoping for more hands or different head or different emblem for the chest. All right. Let me see your guys' comments. Put Roboto head in it. I don't have my other clear Roboto head. It would probably work cooler than this one. That is strange. The clear one would probably look better. But yeah, I'm going to create something else that looks like a bear robot head that, like the interior head, and is actually bigger and kind of fits better inside here. And not just over the top here, but I want it to cover these shoulders too. So it's going to be something bigger that actually fits in there and goes up to give it a full robot looking head inside there. Oh, I see. I see now. That goes there. That goes there. There's little pins that line up to put it on there. It doesn't turn flush in the back here. I thought it would. So I kept pushing harder and harder. You broke it, man. You know what's funny? Look at this. Look at this. I was just thinking about this. You could grab an old trooper head from the... pretend like a trooper is driving, and it covers the shoulders too. That's kind of cool. I actually kind of like that. So you got a trooper driving the giant trooper. I am actually digging that, to tell you the truth. Hey, commentator, thanks for joining us. Hey, Jesse, what do you guys think of that? Whoop. Dude, there's just a little one in there. A wee little one. Da 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 da. I'm actually digging that. I might be selling my Horde Trooper on my regular one without a head. That's cool. Well, let's go ahead and compare it to me classics. that's what I do. Classics to me is the standard, when everything else has to mount to, and sure enough, it's not too bad. I could see using this classics. One thing I would do if I was going to keep this with my classics, which I don't know if I am or not, is I would put a wash on this. This is just not go. The silver looks great. I love the silver. It goes perfectly classics. It's not too bright. It's nice and dark. But this has to change. It's too plasticky, cheapy looking. So I'd probably put like a slight brown wash on it, not black, and then stick it back on there. Might be kind of cool to do like a red silver. That way then it still matches like the machine look, but red. That might be cool too. Yep, so I'm going to say something I don't normally say. I actually like this better than my giant one that I made. I was still happy with this giant one. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But it's just hard to articulate and move, and its waist is way too loose. It's made from a Batman toy, but I actually do like this trooper better than my Batman trooper, Horde trooper. I do like the size of this guy. He's fun because he's big and giant, but this is kind of cool. Mattel, excellent job. Excuse me. Except for the weird little head inside there. Now, if they gave us these guys too and made them like this tall, I guess a little taller than that. I don't know how tall they have to make them. He-Man's got a mask on. They'll never know I'm not one of them. Didn't we get a Skeletor this color? Maybe not. I'm trying to think if we have any figures that's that color green. Nope. Different shade of green. I should have made this guy bigger. If this guy was bigger, he'd be in my box for the Monsters of the Universe. But he should have been like the same size as Beast Man. You know, if they would have made him just massively big like this, that would have been cool. A big, giant, fatty leech. His head's cool, though. I like his head. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Leech or Beast Man. So, what's your guys' feelings on this figure? How did I miss this giant Horde Trooper? Well, Nomsky, there's a link in the description. And I don't know if Mattel has some anymore or not. They might have some on sale right now, because I know they got a big sale going on for the next couple days. And you could pick up the Horde Trooper and grab yourself at the same time a She-Ra when she was part of the Horde, known as Despera. I am not going to get Despera personally, but unfortunately, limit on these is only 3. So you want to build a Horde army, you build a Horde army of 3. Hey, Hyperdelic, thanks for joining us. Yeah, it is kind of. It looks like that guy, doesn't it, from the horror films? That's funny. I'm trying to think if I have any figures that color at all. Nope, wrong shade of green. What is going on here? What? Of course, you could give him a glowing body. That's just kind of weird. Erg. You could battle armor him up. Could have the Rock Again, going for a Halloween party. Ho! Where is that silver trooper I just had? There he is. Urgh. Weird. Weird, weird. Let's see. Hyperdog says, what's up, Todd? Just trying to create a new head for these guys right here. That is the main thing I'm trying to do right now. So I've been going through different Horde trooper heads, trying to find something that will work good for them. And I think I have my answer. Not the answer I want. Not this head, because it's not a full head. It's just a cap that goes on the top. And not this head, because the rim around the eyes is too big, as you guys saw in the last video. And so I'm back to square one. We're just going with a regular trooper head. Super trooper head. I don't know, though. I might go with a totally different style. Let me take a look here. Ah, my figures are all sliding. Maybe I should go with this style head. And it did work for the Batman one. Let's see, where is one that is not painted yet? I know I've got one in here somewhere. What? Now I'm digging in my box trying to find one. Well, here's the head, but I could have sworn I had it on a trooper. I don't know. If I was to produce this in black, would it be cool on this guy? I don't know how I feel about that. And it would kind of match, because this was the original trooper heads from a long time ago. The original stylings. And of course you got the water marines, but that's just too much. I don't want a head like that on there. You know what? I'm just going with the regular trooper head. All right. I have figured out my plan. I think I got it now. All right. So that is it. Last chance for questions or comments before I end this live stream. Look how cool this guy looks. Again, it was a Batman armor. And I painted this. Drilled a hole for this bat symbol to go in there. From the Fighting Foemen. When are you opening the vintage collector Skeletor? You know what? I need to get around to that. He's just sitting right here. This one here, right? Yes. Maybe today, after I get my Horde Trooper heads printing. Maybe tomorrow. I got tomorrow off work, so maybe tomorrow. He does look cool, though. All right. I think that's it. I think I've had enough Horde fun for a while. I got to get busy on making some head for these guys. I've been putting it off now for way too long. And I think that is it. So, I'm going to go ahead and say my good journeys See, who should say it? We'll have this weird guy say it. Good journey. You know what? Wasn't this guy like from the evil hordes of Lord of the Rings? I guess that makes sense why they have him a horde trooper. I don't know, but I like it better being a robot. I'm not going to worry about switching this thing out now. I'm just going to leave that small horde trooper head inside there. I think it's kind of funny, but I'll figure something out for this. For these. All right. Good journey, you guys. Bye now.